I think just our attention to detail and like knowing the scout every game. We take pride in knowing what the other team is going to do, how to defend, the big three on certain teams or specific players, shooters. So I think that's a big part of it, just knowing our scout.
Lee, you've played in some big games in your career. You take it one game at a time, but as you get into this stretch where it's late in the regular season now, does it feel different to you, or are you able to just kind of channel that into, hey, it's just another game?
I think the biggest thing is just being where your feet are. So I would say for me, I'm just taking it game by game, one thing at a time. Every day they like remind us like on game day, okay, we're down to 4 games now. You know what I'm saying? And as I get close to the end of my collegiate career, it's just like, wow, like, okay, only 4 regular season games. Like, I really just want to savor the moment. So just taking it one game at a time.
It seems like when you got here, the coaches really talked about how you worked hard, watched film, really tried to get to know the system. And I know it's always a growing process, but if you've gotten more comfortable in that, maybe this is a dramatic way to say it, but have you kind of been able to find your voice with this team and find the ways you can really contribute the more you get settled in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of my greatest assets is just the type of person that I am. I'm a huge encourager. I want everyone to do well. Don't hang your head. Next play. And I'm a big reminder for all of my teammates. I feel like whenever something isn't going our way or we don't get into the flow of things smoothly, I'm always the voice to just, okay, next play, like we got it. You know what I'm saying? Don't hang your head. Let's just keep pushing. We're gonna get through it. So I would say it's definitely been pretty easy, and my teammates make it easy as well because safe space, open space for everyone to communicate, and everybody here knows how to take constructive criticism and just take that and try to make adjustments in the heat of the moment. So
Sounds like the message after the game was a win is a win. But was there some things maybe out of that Tech game that y'all learned that y'all can do better? What are some things that you kind of pick up from that game?
as a team, we just talked about having a little bit of a better start. We came out a little bit sluggish, and we gave them the opportunity to get up on us. And I think we started to show who we really are as a team in the second half. We just had small mishaps, one step off. It happens. But I think that was our biggest thing as far as what we talked about in the huddle.
For you, your game, you can provide scoring from beyond the arc. You can take it to the bucket. What have you sort of learned about the ways you can fit into the offense, but also use your skills to make something happen when need be?
Yeah, I would say my biggest thing has just been trying to assist the ball a little bit better. Even though I'm playing from out of the corner in the 2 spot, I feel like there's no space to not be a good passer. So that's something that I've just been focusing on, trying not to turn the ball over, because sometimes I get excited and I just get to going really, really fast. But I would say it's been pretty easy once you learn the sets, and like I know what type of shots I'm looking for now in the offense, and just now it's just learning my teammates how I can assist them a little bit better. Thank you.
What's kind of your takeaways from the game against Texas Tech that you want to bring into Colorado?
I certainly think on the road you can't start slow. I thought, especially Colorado's 20 points per game better at home than they are on the road. So, I think when it comes to Tech, I don't think we were very dialed in the first quarter to game plan defensively in particular. I think we let them get shots they weren't supposed to get. We were missing assignments. We weren't denying where we were supposed to deny. So, I think we got away with it. And, not that you don't learn a lot from winning close games and getting in those battles where you got to make plays down the stretch. But we've got to start better, certainly, to beat Colorado at home. I mean, Colorado's beaten Kansas State at their place. They've beaten West Virginia at their place. Like, they've played really, really well at home, throwing altitude. And, we're going to have to play really well to beat them there.
What do you remember from that first game, and maybe some things that y'all have to do either better or like you did that game?
Yeah, I thought we were disruptive, which was good. I think we scored 22 points off 20 turnovers. So I thought we were disruptive defensively at times. I thought we missed some assignments. They run a lot of chin and elbow action, a lot of Princeton stuff. So we've got to communicate. I think with their size, they're probably going to post us a little more this time with their guards. I thought we didn't guard any kind of diagonal up screening action to their fives very well. They got easy shots at the rim. And then we struggled on the glass. Like, they went hard to the glass. They weren't making perimeter shots. They shoot it better at home, so we can't give them the shots that we gave them. But then we have to give them one shot because they did an elite job of getting on the glass, if not finishing, when they got offensive rebounds, including, we fouled them too much and gave them offensive rebounds on free throws. What we did well, I thought our transition game was really good. I thought our step-up game was really good. I thought our high-low game was elite. So I think those are things when we kept the ball in the middle of the floor, stretched them out because they've got size on the perimeter, but maybe not as much in the post, allowed us to play down the middle third really, really well.
Seems like there's a path for you to get to a host spot. How do you feel about that? And is that a carrot you kind of dangle out there?
Yeah, I think, our success has come one game at a time. But I certainly think that with a couple top 15 teams in the net still to play, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take wins. But wanting to really focus on Colorado. But I certainly think when I look at, maybe 12 through 16 in that reveal, I think a lot of teams have a lot of tough games down the stretch, and so how you finish is going to determine, what happens. I certainly think there's teams in that top 16 that already have 5, 7 quad one wins, and they could lose a couple, and they probably shouldn't drop off some of those lines. But I do think there's opportunity for us to get quad one wins. So we have control, I think, of that. But certainly it's not an easy road when you think about 3 games in 6 days, who we're playing, quick turnaround to play at Kansas State, as well as TCU's playing. So I just, when you look at it, there's a lot of work to do, but it's still there for sure.
Colorado's dealt with some injuries to key performers, but it seems like some of their younger players have stepped up. What have you seen from them kind of in this transition?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we added people to the scouting report, certainly. But I think the nature of their system, there's a lot of interchangeable parts. And so I think they've done a good job of playing to the strengths of whoever is playing. We weren't seeing a lot of post-ups for Dew or Garzon the last time we played. But they're trying to take advantage of some of those matchups with size because maybe Masagayo has missed the last 2 games or maybe just one. I don't know. It's hard to keep track because they've been in and out, you know. So it's, I think the unique challenge of scouting them right now is a little bit who's going to play. So you have to just understand the actions, like how you're guarding elbow, how you're guarding the regular chin, you know, how you're guarding horns. I mean, those are kind of their three main things right now. And then understand when game day comes and there's certain people suited up and certain people not, understanding the strengths of the people that are going to play. So I think that's going to be the key with them. You know, we don't know. Obviously, Foreman's been in a boot. Sarah Rose Smith has been in a boot. Masagaya was on crutches. Kendall Wetta, you could see her concussion, like she forehead to the floor at Iowa State, but you just don't know, like, what's the timing on all of that. And so you prepare. Do they play? Do they not play? You kind of prepare both ways.
Sarah on Saturday got off to a hot start, then had some uncharacteristic air balls, but then hit a really big shot late. You know, she's a veteran, but how big kind of was it for her and the team just to kind of know you were coming back to her and to hit a big shot that was pretty big in the late game stages?
Yeah, it was a big shot. You know, we've been so good against zone lately. Like, you haven't been able to zone us effectively. So I thought when they were struggling with our middle action, in their man, you know, it was kind of okay, we got to try this. We got to mix it up because Texas Tech has played very, very, very little zone this season. I'm talking possessions here and there, not quarters worth of zone. And so, you know, we ran a play to get her a three in the corner, and I think she hit the side of the backboard, and I thought, okay, that's how we're feeling today. But I thought that you know, it was a simple attack. You know, we knew the way they were kind of playing no bump principles that we could get overloaded to the corner and get a shot. But I think the one she made was one in flow and not one that it was like, hey, we're running for you to get this shot. And sometimes that takes the pressure off when it happens in the flow and not, you know, like, okay, this play is for you. So I thought it was a big shot. I thought Bugs and one. You know, Nettie had struggled a little bit against the double team when they had brought it. And so at the right time, seeing Bugs dive and finish that was for sure a big play there as well. But, I mean, we're always going to rely on it. Sarah's hit a lot of big threes in her career. So, you know, we're never afraid to put the ball in her hands in those situations because she's done it more than anybody on our team, and it's not close, you know. So, yeah, it was a big shot, especially because the trail three air ball, the shot off the side of the backboard, like, it's a little rough there for a while. Yeah.
No, and one of the last couple of times I asked you about how they were handling the pressure, and you talked about them dancing and stuff in the pregame. You still feel like they're really handling that part well? Just, I mean, they're in a conference race, but like John said, y'all also have a chance to host. You feel like they're handling all that pretty well?
Yeah, I think you know, I don't know that we were ready against Texas Tech, and it certainly wasn't because you know, we took them lightly as a staff. I've watched them play Utah to one possession at their place, Oklahoma State to one possession at their place. So, you know, their record wasn't indicative of the type of competitiveness they've had. They're not getting beat by 20. You know, they're getting beat by 3 or 5. We felt the same way about BYU, and then look what BYU did to Oklahoma State. Like, they, as much as their record, it didn't indicate how competitive they had been in the majority of their games. And so, you know, like, I think our team, by nature of their personalities, plays better when they're loose. Like, I've never been a coach that, you know, we certainly take their phones at some point, but, you know, we're not silent on the bus. We're not, you know, we don't have that mentality. I want them to enjoy being college student athletes. But at the same time, like, there is a business side to, like, winning when it matters. And I think that's the important part. Like, you got to do your homework. You got to know your scout. gotta prepare the right way for every opponent. But certainly, like, I don't want them to walk around with the weight of the world on their shoulders. This is a game, and they should enjoy playing the game. And I think when they're playing it really joyfully is when we're playing our best anyway. And when you put too much pressure on yourself, it's not the shot you got to make in the fourth quarter. It's the shot you need to make in the first quarter. I mean, if you put pressure on yourself from the beginning, like, there's going to be moments of pressure, and you got to step up and rise to the occasion. I have to do that as a coach. I got to have the right lineup out there. I got to call the right play. We've got to call the right defense. We pushed all the right buttons against West Virginia, but certainly it's different on the road. So we've got to continue to be really, really good on the road.
Your balanced scoring is a real positive for this team. But when it comes to all conference honors, would that work against you?
Of course.
Who do you have that you would say is worthy of all conference recognition?
Yeah, I think right now, anyone that doesn't vote for Bugs would shock me. I just think the consistency, whether she scores 9 or 26, I think her consistency on the glass, her field goal percentage, her points per shot, or all of that. The way she's continued to get better at feeding the high-low and be more versatile in terms of stuffing the stat sheet, not just with points and rebounds, but now assists. I think she's put herself in that position. I think that people game plan for Sarah and Nettie. Like I think when you're voting, and I can only say that from my perspective, like, what am I looking at? It's not always how many points people score, but who do we game plan for? Like, what do we think is going to beat us? And I think people still game plan for Sarah Andrews. People game plan for Aaronette. Like, they just do. I mean, some teams have a matchup for Nettie and some teams don't. So Texas Tech was going to double her. Now, I thought Sanaga, and I'm probably saying that name a little bit wrong, but I thought she did a good individual job of getting 3 quarters and bothering Nettie with her length and athleticism. But I mean, there are times, I feel like Yaya's 6th player of the year. I feel like, Jada makes huge plays for us and is the head of the snake defensively for us. And so, it's really hard to answer that question, because I think you take any of them off our team and we're not the same team. I think when Jada's getting us assists and making downhill plays and playing fast, like, we're really, really hard to guard. And so, I think they're all going to split votes to me besides Bugs. Like, I do think, and maybe you don't game plan for Bugs and that's why she beat you. Because she's one of those kids that you don't have to play to for shots. Like, she creates shots. She creates her own shots by getting on the glass, by catching a reverse pass and driving. So, I mean, we put her in space and we put her in good opportunities to score, but we don't run staggers for her. We don't run flare screens for her. We don't run pin downs for her. We don't run high-low for her. We don't run all the things that we run for other players on our team. And so she's kind of one of those people that just plays off of all of those actions and just does it really effectively and efficiently. All right, thanks.